So there are an awful lot of WNBA free agents in 2026. Almost everybody is a free agent. And if you guys are looking, obviously, Jackie Young, Kelsey Mitchell, Jewel Lloyd, Kalia Copper, pretty much everyone that's not on a rookie deal or is not Kalani Brown or Lexi Brown is a free agent. So in this video, we're going to be talking about free agents on the upper end. So these are kind of max contract free agents that the Indiana Fever should at least look at. Do I think they should go and take any of them? It's yet to be seen, like, what exactly they need. But for me, I think this is one of those ones where it's like, you probably do go and spend your max money slot on a power forward. I believe that the Indiana Fever are going to have room for one max contract because I think they're going to have to pay Lexi Hull probably a lot more than we think they're going to have to pay Lexi Hull. And I think they're going to have to pay Sophie Cunningham. I think they might have to pay both of them 3/4 of max. And I think to fill out their bench and make an actual deep lineup, I think they're going to have that max contract power forward. And with losing Natasha Howard, her max money goes to that. And I don't think they have the DeWanna Bonner max contract money. But on a positive note, they're not still paying Katie Luke coming into next year. So players that I think that they should look at that near max money. First of all, like we have to talk about whether or not they bring back Natasha Howard, who was on the team last year, who was the Commissioner's Cup Finals MVP. My instant answer is no. If she is coming back as a max contract player, I don't believe she's worth it. I think that she was obviously a key piece to the Commissioner's Cup win. I think there were individual games that she played where she was great. But if you look at the game log, like in the final, or in the semifinals, she had 12 in game 1, and then in games 2, 3, and 4, got cooked by Alanna Smith. She got cooked by Alanna Smith in these games. Like, she had almost as many turnovers as points in some of them. And it was the same. She did okay against Atlanta in games 2 and 3. But if you looked at the regular season, it was 18, 8, 10, 6, 5, 12, 7, 7, 21, 17, 11, 6, 0, 18, 13, 8, 18, 18, 9, 4. Like, there was a level of inconsistency there from Natasha Howard. And one of those things was, it was a stylistic thing. You saw early on in the year, like, this game didn't really count because the Sky were terrible. But she was better when Caitlin Clark wasn't there a lot of the time. And in blowout wins with Caitlin Clark, like where's the Dallas win? She looked really good in the... Where's the Dallas after Atlanta? In this Dallas win, where it was a blowout, where she can just kind of cherry pick and get layups. I didn't think she fit well whatsoever with Caitlin Clark, but again, we have to work off the assumption that the Indiana Fever are building around Caitlin Clark, so I don't think you bring her back. I don't think it's even a question that you bring her back, in my opinion. I don't think it's a question. Like, I wouldn't even consider bringing her back if I was the Indiana Fever. Next up is another player, and by the way, I'm not putting Stewie, I'm not putting Aja on this list because they're not getting Stewie or Aja or Fee. They're just not getting any of them. Emma Meesseman from the New York Liberty. Pros. In the system Stephanie White says she wants to play, this motion, egalitarian, equal opportunity offense where everyone gets to make decisions, where you need lateral connective passers, you need bigs to go inside out, you need bigs to be able to play inside and outside, you need bigs to be able to be offensive hubs. She can do that. I think on the offensive end, she is a better version of Aaliyah Boston, not as good on the defensive end. I think she is a comparable level player to Aaliyah Boston. Problem, she's slow. It's as simple as that. She's slow, and if you want to play full slowdown, I think you can run her with Aaliyah Boston. Absolutely do I think that. But as we saw last year, she didn't play well with Jonquel Jones. And she didn't, she was their best player at decent chunks of last season. Like, if you guys didn't see, even in the game logs, like, she averaged the same amount, more points than Jonquel. And these are not bad numbers. But if you guys saw how she was playing, like, she had a run where it was 24, 24, 11, 13, 14, 11, 24, 24. Like, that's she's averaging 16 points per game through her first 6 or 7 games. And they were winning. And then it it was weird. It was like when they were losing, she was almost playing worse at times. And then obviously in the playoffs, she was a non-factor because they didn't want to play her at the same time as John Quell. So look, she's going to cost a max contract. I think she's worth a max contract somewhere. I just think she's too slow for the way we hope Caitlin Clark is going to play. So I think if Caitlin gets injured, or if Caitlin was not on this team, and Odyssey Sims was your point guard, and Kelsey Mitchell was your 2 guard, Aaliyah was your 5, and you want to play old style WNBA, Emma Meesseman is great. She's great for that. But, big but, the team employs Caitlin Clark. I'm going to say it's a no, especially on a max contract. It's very different when we were talking about it last year as like she could come over to Indiana if they're contenders on a minimum for half the season. And it's like, it's very different with her coming over on a minimum and coming over on a max. And you're going to have to spend a max contract on her. I think she's worth a max somewhere. Don't think Indiana's that place. Then we're going to talk about Nneka Ogwumike. And I think there is a world where Nneka gets out of Seattle. Now, we don't know what Seattle's doing necessarily. And we don't know if they're going for it or if they're blowing it up. Nobody really knows because obviously when it comes to the Seattle Storm, they are a really old team. They're a really old team that have a really young star. Not only have a really good star, they have a couple of really good stars. They have like Jordan, a couple of really good young players, and they have the 3rd pick in this year's draft. So they can rebuild. They can just say, fuck this. Let's core. We can't core and trade Nneka. Let's core and trade. Let's just keep Ezzy because she's young. Rebuild. We'll try to figure out how Ezzy and Dom can work together. We're gonna see what we can get for Nneka. We'll see what can happen with Nneka and see what it is. But if that happens, where would suit Nneka Ogwumike to play? Indiana might be the best option. Nneka can shoot the ball. She averaged 18 points per game last year, 37% from 3. On her career as a 37% 3-point shooter. She still has, I think Nneka's still got one really good year left in her as a championship level power forward, especially when she becomes the 4th option on a team. Is she going to be willing to do that? I don't know, but I think she can. And I think Nneka Ogwumike, if she's available, would be a perfect option for the Indiana Fever. The problem is I don't think that she's going to be leaving Seattle. I think she's going to be staying. I think they're going to give it one more go because they can. They don't need to blow it up this year and rebuild. I think because they made the playoffs, they're not going to get that high a pick anyway. I think worst case scenario, they can still go for it and then rebuild in a year's time. Because let's be honest, if they struggle this year, 2028 is a better draft than 2027. Albeit with the 2-year thing, I wouldn't be surprised if the 2-year rule is gone in the CBA. And if that's the case, you definitely don't need to tear it up this year. But still has to be an option. And now we're on to the last 2 options for these high contract, these high cost free agents that could be game changers. That could be game changers with Fever. First up is Alanna Smith. And her stats don't really jump out at you. And she did not shoot the ball well. And she was terrible in the playoffs. For that reason, this is a real question mark. But she was the Lynx' most important player 2 seasons ago when she went down with a bit of an injury and she was off the floor. It was it was genuinely it was a blowout. Like when Dorky Uhas or Maisha Hines-Allen were there, it was a blowout. But like when Alanna Smith was on the floor, they were much better. They were a much better team. So it's a really interesting thing when you're looking at a player like Alanna Smith, because for me, I think that she's somebody that could be of huge importance. And she also is lockdown. Let's not forget, she was Depoy. And the thing is that she struggled on Alyssa Thomas. you've got a really good defender in Aaliyah Boston there beside you. That helps. It helps having a defender like Aaliyah Boston there. So when you've got a defender like an Aaliyah Boston beside a defender like Alanna Smith, it's going to help. She's going to spread the floor a little bit. She can work as that spacer. Caitlin's going to get her wide open. And look, she has absolutely had seasons where she shot the ball better than she did last year. Like in Minnesota, the season before, she shot 40% from three. Like she shot 40% on 3 attempts per game. Like if we can get 24 Alanna Smith shooting with 25 Alanna Smith defense, like you're getting the perfect player to have beside Aaliyah Boston. However, the most likely to be available player that I think would be perfect is Azura. I think Azura was fantastic last year. I genuinely do. I think Azura Stevens, I don't know how many better players there are for the Indiana Fever to go for than Azura. I think she is a player that you are, like, she's 6'6", she shoots the ball really well, 38% from three. And she is a she's a good defender. She's athletic. I think the LA Sparks are going to get rid of her. Why? Because I think they're more in on Hamby than Azura, and you're not going to bench Cameron Brink for another year. If Cameron Brink somehow becomes available via trade, do whatever you can to get Cameron Brink. But I think they're going to prioritize Cameron Brink's development because I do think long term she's going to be the best of the three of them. But with Azura's improvement, her stats don't show how good she was because she was the third option on that team. And then second half of the season, her minutes were cut down because, yes, Cam Brink came back from injury, but she was still in there as a starter. Like, if you look at the game log here, the way she ended the season, 6, 5, 5, 17, 9, 3, 5, 3, 13, 8, 5. And you're looking at, like, what happens here? She's down to, like, 25 minutes a game where she's playing, like, a lot of time high 30s when she was killing it. It was Cameron Brink came in. Cameron Brink came in, took her a bit out of rhythm. I think someone's going to give her a max contract. I think she's a seamless fit beside Aaliyah Boston. She's a seamless fit beside Caitlin Clark. She solves the big problem. She's a 6'6" power forward, which solves the problem of Aaliyah Boston being a 6'3" center. So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting one. I think Azura could be a perfect pickup for the Fever. So anyway, that's the video. I'll see you guys.